tuned into Quick Charge, the high voltage podcast bringing you the top stories in electric vehicles and sustainable energy daily. And it's all powered by Electrek. Welcome to Quick Charge. It's September 9th, 2024, and I'm your host, Joe Boris. We're going to start today's news off with some interesting news from Tesla. Tesla revealed its wireless home EV charging station in patent filings. Here are some of the drawings from the patent applications. We've seen some of these things before. This looks like the standard mat that you drive the vehicle over, uses some kind of magnetic induction charging to transfer there. A lot of the patent applications have to do with managing the power electronics inside the system to optimize power efficiency, which again has been one of the main issues preventing wireless EV chargers from going mainstream in the past. It's unclear when Tesla plans to unveil its wireless charging technology, but it wouldn't be surprising to see it make an appearance at the robotaxi unveiling next month, since the technology has been linked to self-driving vehicles, specifically in the way that it enables them to go and charge themselves at a parking spot without needing anyone else to plug them in. Now, of course, those patents are forward-looking Tesla innovations, but we have to look a little bit at the past. And the fact is that the people who built a lot of the innovations that made Tesla what it is today are leaving the company. And just last week, Jamie wrote this great article about Tesla losing another director. This is one who built the software for Tesla Energy. We're, of course, talking about Rohan Ma, who is responsible for Tesla's AutoBidder software. AutoBidder is a software platform that coordinates energy trading, which works alongside Tesla's energy products like Powerwalls and Megapacks to sell energy back to the grid in real time. Software like this is what allows grid-tied batteries to buy and sell from the grid and help the owners of those batteries make money by arbitraging energy, storing it when it's cheap and plentiful, and selling it when it's expensive and demand is high. Not only does it help make money for battery owners who provide these grid services, but helps to balance the grid during unstable times of very high demand or when supply is constrained due to weather, generation plant shutdowns, etc. It's also a solution to the often repeated intermittency problem of solar and wind. As of 2023, AutoBidder made more than $330 million in profits for the owners of what was then 7 gigawatt hours of battery capacity available under its purview. Our last update on AutoBidder profits came about a year ago, so surely much more has been made since then. Now, rather than write about Rohan Ma's leaving, we're going to read his own words posted to LinkedIn when he made the announcement. After 8 years at Tesla, this will be my last week. It was the ride of a lifetime. Today, Tesla Energy is thriving, and I can confidently say that it's in the best position it has ever been in to drive impact towards the original mission I signed up for. I'm proud to have contributed over the years to where it is now, and will be cheering the team on from the sidelines as they carry the torch forward and continue to relentlessly solve problems at the frontier of the energy transition. I want to thank my Tesla colleagues, past and present. It was a privilege to work alongside such incredibly resilient, committed, and capable people all these years. I'm also grateful to our AutoBidder customers, specifically those who partnered with me when it was just an idea on a whiteboard. I always felt grateful for the responsibility of demonstrating what energy storage is truly capable of achieving in electricity markets. And without the trust of our partners and customers, it would never have been possible. And lastly, Drew Baglino, thank you for betting on me and bringing your vision, intellect, and relentless optimism to us all over the years. For me, I have no plans yet on my next chapter, which is both thrilling and a bit terrifying. I'm looking forward to reconnecting with many of you in the coming months and learning more about what's going on out there before hunkering down to build again. Now, obviously, two things here that are really interesting. He talks about the mission and seems to imply that the original Tesla mission is no longer present at the company when he says that he's driving towards the original mission that he signed up for. This is something that was echoed in our last episode where Fred Lambert had sold all of his shares because he no longer felt confident that Tesla was working towards its original mission. Ma goes on to talk about the resiliency and commitment of the people that he's worked with. That's something we've seen time and time again, especially with Tesla's supercharger department, which of course was liquidated several months ago. And even though Tesla defenders will leap to this and say, well, they've hired a lot of them back, I think that has more to do with the fact that Elon found out he couldn't run the company without them and was effectively forced to bring them back because of it. Ma's departure follows a string of other high-profile departures from Tesla in recent months. Notably, Drew Baglino, the one person who Ma mentions by name in his departure post, left in April of this year, alongside Tesla's announcement that it will lay off, quote, more than 10% of its global workforce. Baglino had been the top engineer at the company and had worked for Tesla for 18 years. In the last few months, Tesla also lost head Rohan Patel, supercharger lead Rebecca Tanucci, and her entire team, as I mentioned moments ago. Program manager for Model S3Y Daniel Ho, investor relations head Martin Vieca, ad team leader Alex Ingram, and his entire team, head of product launches Rich Otto, and more, many of which seem connected in some way to Tesla's massive layoffs. Around a year ago, the company lost CFO Zach Kirkhorn and senior manager Colin Campbell as well. So while Tesla is reducing staff and trying to push back rumors of a brain drain, its competitors are ramping up their product launches. BYD launched the new Han EV powered by its latest technology suite, and this car starts at just $25,000. Now, this is an evolved 2025 Han EV featuring the latest technology, and again, that super low price. This is a vehicle that in its base price, $25,000, delivers 314 miles on the CLTC range. Bumping it all the way up to the LiDAR smart driving at $33,000 gives you 435-mile range. This model has a dual motor powertrain, while all the other trims are single motor front wheel drive. And like most of its 2025 models, BYD's new flagship sedan now features LiDAR and DI Pilot 300 driver assist, as the company doubles down on smart driving tech as the future. And they're not alone in thinking this. Obviously, very famously, Elon Musk once said that Tesla was worth basically nothing if they couldn't get full self-driving right. Other companies who want to compete with Tesla are also competing with them on the autonomous driving front, including Lucid. Lucid from day one was built to be a Tesla killer, and they hired Peter Rawlinson, who was, of course, the engineer of the original Model S. Now, Lucid's latest software update is a big one with new 3D lane visualization and more. The latest software, which rolled out today, features a host of new features, including 3D lane visualization, turn-by-turn navigation with Apple CarPlay, and more. In his article today, Peter Johnson writes, this release also marks the transition of Dream Drive Pro highway assist features to our in-house Lucid software stack. Lucid's head of software engineering, Jean-Philippe Gauthier, explained. Lucid's optional Dream Drive Pro advanced driver assist system gained several new features, including that 3D lane visualization we talked about, highway assist utilizing high-definition maps. Drivers can see HOV lanes, exits, lane merges, and splits. Can also now be used on curves. Driver-initiated lane change assist. Drivers can now change lanes by holding a long press on the turn signal, and extended stop and go. Vehicles will resume traveling after long stops and heavy stop and go traffic as long as the driver is looking ahead. Lucid's new update also improved adaptive cruise control with new automatic curve speed control. So really exciting stuff from two of the biggest contenders for Tesla's championship crown. Lucid obviously on the high end of the market, BYD just being everywhere. Now, moving on from these new kind of startup electric brands, we're going to talk about a legacy brand that hasn't had a lot to say yet in the EV space. We're talking about Dodge. Now, Dodge obviously owned by Stellantis, with a lot of European brands, both French and Italian, thrown into the mix as well. And while they are very big in Europe with both plug-in hybrids and battery electric vehicles, not quite yet there in North America, but they're still making waves. And this is one of the ways that they're doing it. This is a 1,070 horsepower all-wheel drive electric Dodge Hornet RT that goes from 0 to 60 in just 1.4 seconds. I'm going to read from the official press release, which is like a breathless, heady, excitable thing. And we'll talk about that in a second. But with 4 axial flux motors generating the equivalent of 1,070 horsepower, these machines don't just accelerate, they bend the laws of physics, reads the breathy, exuberant press release from Dodge, announcing the new Nitro Cross Group E racing machine. We're talking 0 to 60 in 1.4 seconds, fast enough to rearrange your internal organs and make you question your life choices, all before you hit second gear. And with nearly 2 Gs of acceleration from a standing start, these cars don't just jump the 200-foot gaps common in Nitrocross, they practically achieve low Earth orbit. Now, for context, the record-breaking Model S Plaid that ran an 8-second quarter mile a few weeks back is fully 4/10 slower to 60 than Dodge claims its new Hornet is. That is moving, and precious few cars of any kind can whip themselves from 0 to 60 in less than 2 Mississippis. To accomplish this feat, the Dodge Hornet features a tubular chassis, carbon fiber chassis tub, Alcon braking system, electric power assisted steering, Front and rear double wishbone R53 suspension with adjustable camber and caster with 12 inches of wheel travel and adjustable front and rear anti-roll bars. It is, in other words, a very real, very capable race car that is going to impress a lot of people. Now, they don't talk about range, they don't talk about batteries, because this thing really just has to last a couple of minutes, long enough to complete a nitro cross heat race. So while this is not necessarily a practical machine, and obviously there is no fully electric Hornet to draw comparisons to, but it is still something that's important because Dodge has had a really rough go of it. Ever since they were owned by Chrysler, they were sold to Daimler Chrysler. From there to now, they have seen vehicles like their mid-range sedans, their entry-level vehicles like the Neon, their mass market vehicles like the Caravan, their halo cars like the Viper. All of those, one by one, have been whittled away to now they're basically just producing a Challenger. And even that is not a mainstream offering. So it's good to see that Dodge has some kind of plan to market to younger generation and hopefully get some new Mopar fans out there. Obviously, Nitro Cross, their primary audience is from that like 15 to 35 year range that still thinks that kind of stuff is cool. And it is cool, but I just don't know that I'd want to spend a weekend watching it. But hey, that's just me. I'm an old fat guy, so definitely be sure to hop into the comments and let us know if you think this is going to help Dodge move the needle forward. Now, speaking of moving the needle forward, when we talk about decarbonization, we talk about the move to electrification. A lot of that has to do with environmental concerns and a need and desire to reduce our carbon emissions. And while going from a gas-powered vehicle or a diesel vehicle to electric is good, a better way is to right-size your fleet. And that's exactly what cargo bikes have done. If you're the type of person who lives in a suburban neighborhood, you work from home, you don't necessarily need a full-size SUV or even a compact car to get your kids to school and go pick up some groceries and runs to the farmer's market. You can do that with a cargo bike. An Extra Cycle Hopper has just been launched as the brand's most affordable premium cargo e-bike. Now, this is a great article from Micah Toll that goes into some of Extra Cycle's history, how they've been known as a sort of higher end Euro style bike manufacturer. And now this vehicle bringing it down into a much more mainstream price, $29.99, $24.99 as a promotional price. It's about half what you normally expect from Extra Cycle's flagship cargo bike. So this comes with a major redesign. It's got a ton of great accessories like kid haulers, pannier bags, heavy duty racks, all kinds of stuff. So if you're an e-bike fan, you're looking for something like this to haul you and the kiddos around, definitely go and check Micah's article out. We're going to have a link to it in the source notes. Now, you know, we like to end these shows by talking about sustainability, talking about energy, talking about things that are essentially for the public good. Today's show is no different. Zion becomes the first national park with an all-electric shuttle bus service. This is an article by Jamie Dow. Obviously, national parks were America's best idea ever. We love anything that helps to clean those up and make them quieter, more inviting places for people to get back in touch with nature and obviously have less of an impact on the ecosystem they serve. This park, which is largely situated around a narrow canyon, started getting more and more visited in the 1990s, which led to traffic issues. This led the park to close off most park roads to private traffic and institute a shuttle system to bring visitors through the canyon back and forth from the town of Springdale just outside the park. That original bus fleet went into service in the year 2000 and helped to revitalize the park by reducing noise and pollution from traffic, which were always a scourge in beautiful natural areas. Couldn't agree more. The remarks we got from visitors that very first summer were fantastic, they said. You have given us back the canyon. We can hear the birds sing and the air is fresh. No longer were the traffic jams fouling the air, impacting the landscape and diminishing the visitor experience. That's from Jeff Bradyberg, Zion National Park Superintendent. However, those buses ran on propane, so they were still relatively noisy and contributed to the degradation of the natural environments due to their use of fossil fuels. So cleaner, but not cleanest. Now, Zion has upgraded its entire fleet to all-electric buses rather than the previous propane buses, becoming the first fleet of any national park to go 100% full electric. The fleet includes 30 all-electric buses, replacing the 39 previous propane ones. The new buses are more spacious, quieter, and include air conditioning with better disability accommodations, something the previous buses did not offer. That's all we've got for today. If you like what you heard, be sure to like and subscribe. And hey, we'll have more news for you tomorrow.